Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reptile Room. Today, I'm here with my friends Pat and Michael at Cold Blooded and Bizarre, and we're gonna do a whole store tour. It's been about 2 years since I've been here. I'm gonna check it out.
Welcome back, it's good to see you again.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So,
let's get started.
Yeah,
this place has changed.
A lot has changed
just
since
a little
last year. So yeah, let's come this way. So I apologize, our lights are on timers, not everything.
It's all good.
Not everything is awake quite yet, but starting here we have some Urodactylode villardi chameleon geckos. I see one hiding on this stem of this plant. They're in a really cool bioactive vivarium. There's actually 3 of them hiding in there.
That's one thing they have a lot of. Everything you're going to see is pretty much all bioactive in here, right? At just about every enclosure to a degree.
I would say probably 75% of the store is on bioactive.
It's the way to do it.
Vivarium setups.
I saw these tortoises back here, the star tortoises.
Yeah, we have one Indian star tortoise hanging out in there and a couple of captive bred Herman's tortoises.
Very cool.
One thing about CB&B, Cold Blooded and Bizarre, also an acronym for captive born and bred. We only bring in captive bred animals as we don't support taking wild animals out of the ecosystem for a whole number of reasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of reasons for that. None of them are excusable.
That's true, yeah. It disrupts local populations and food chains, food webs. Wild animals, if you grew up being a free creature and then somebody puts you in a glass box, I feel like it makes probably a stressed out animal not going to be as good of a pet for someone.
Yeah.
Also, wild animals are fraught with parasites and worms and microorganisms and things that you don't necessarily want to introduce into your
exactly.
collection.
Best to start with the best animals. And look at this dude over here, this giant green amoeba.
Yep.
He's out cruising around. There's another one back in there too.
We actually have a 1-2 pairing in here.
That's cool.
If you can, I think the dude is hiding under that thing. You'll know him. He's got really big jowls.
Big jowls, yeah.
Yeah. You can see our peach throat kind of periscoping his little head.
I got a little picture of him. That'll be on Instagram here. You'll have to check out the Instagram page for all the behind the scenes pictures.
Oh, is one of the dune geckos out? These guys. Yeah, he is. Hanging out right under the stick there. They build pretty complex tunnel networks under the sand there and spend most of the day hiding.
Man, he is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I believe those guys are pretty close to full grown. They don't get terribly...
Look at his eyes. Are like glass balls almost.
So, yeah, we were talking to Peach Throat. He is one of our rescues that we've had for probably over a year now. Monitors are an animal that most of them get really large, and you need a big, proper-sized enclosure to properly accommodate one of those.
Is that the boy there?
Or is that? Those are both the girls.
Nope.
I think I see his tail.
Oh, gotcha.
His face is like twice the size of either of them.
That's awesome.
So then coming down here, we have some blue-tongued skinks.
Yeah.
We got some halmaharas. We got some Mali dispar uromastics. They also appear to be sleeping. Some more skinks. This guy's not asleep. That is one of our rescue beardies who is, as of yesterday, found a forever home.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. That guy's really cool. That is a melanistic jeweled lacerda.
Yeah.
Most of them are a beautiful green color with like bright blue spots going down their sides. This guy is jet black.
It's super cool.
So he is quite cool. What else do we have over here?
Oh yeah, the creepy crawly section. Those guys.
Ah, those are spider molts.
Yes.
So nothing to worry about. Nobody's escaped. I don't know if Captain Ahab was here when you first were here. He's one of our first rescues. Again, the lights are off, but that is a green tree iguana that was found by a mother and her 2 daughters that were going on a walk in a park not far from here.
Oh, wow.
And they found this iguana. It looked dead. They came closer. It moved a little bit, so they brought it here.
So it was just out here.
In the loose in a park around Charlotte.
Don't let your pets go in the wild, people.
This one, it turns out, had severe burns on both of his her front feet. I imagine it was probably encased in an enclosure that was too small, as a lot of big box type stores sell these as beginner animals.
Yeah.
And they are very far from that.
Yeah.
I imagine possibly its feet got caught under a heat lamp or something trying to get loose, and instead of taking it to the vet, the owners just dumped it in the
Let
park.
it out. Yep.
But we took him to the vet a number of times, got him topical antimicrobial wraps every day, oral antibiotics. If you could see him, he's got 3 times bigger. He's healthy and
That's awesome.
meaner than anything.
Heck yeah. Yeah. You hear that last part? Meaner than anything? Yeah. Green
man,
iguana is not necessarily known as like the most.
I can't really blame him. I would probably
Yeah,
not be too thrilled either if somebody burned my fingers off.
Some green iguana owners, you see them with different parts of their fingertips missing and whatnot.
Yeah, and scratches. And
That's just big
par for the
lizard,
course,
big
yeah.
lizard life, you know. You can get the same scratches from your bearded dragon too if you're not paying attention.
we have another one here named Kitty, who is a Grand Cayman Island cross. She is very friendly. We'll probably take her out a little bit later.
That'll be cool.
Over in this section, we have probably the first beginning portion of our tarantulas, but they're kind of also spread all around the store. That is a male ambilobe panther chameleon that was bred by one of our employees.
Very cool.
He's just over a year old at this point, and the colors are, as you can see, just really remarkable.
Yeah. Chameleons in general, they're all crazy. They're super cool.
So I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see this guy. This is Arnold Palmer. He's sleeping in the back corner, but he is an albino black and white Argentinian tegu. So he is some really cool pink and yellow colors. We'll probably take him out a little later too.
Heck yeah.
He's one that's a shop pet, so if you come back in another couple of years, you'll see him probably 3-4 times that size.
Can't quite peek around and see his face. We'll see him later.
Yeah. And
Heck
then
yeah.
Over here we have a number more of our fancier geckos. We have a male and a female lychee hiding in here.
I like how the enclosures are mirrored.
Yeah, that's
You know,
actually lychees mate for life, and
Yeah.
if the lady doesn't like the dude, she can kill him. So they're pretty serious about it.
It's rough.
And they're the largest species of gecko in the world, so they're really kind of powerful creatures. So what we're doing here is we've kept the cork in each one, then we switch it so they can see each other, kind of smell each other, get used to each other before getting actually paired up physically together.
A longer term introduction.
Exactly.
So you have a really stable, that's a good way to do it.
We have some other fancier geckos. We got mainland line Chihuahua, Saracen's giant day gecko, or Saracen's giant gecko rather.
Heck yeah.
There's a crested gecko. I believe all of these are native to New Caledonia.
Very cool. And the enclosures are just killer.
Yeah,
the bio enclosures
the bioactive,
are awesome.
the plants really,
Fantastic.
even if you can't see the lizard, the enclosure itself is a work of art.
Something else, it's a living piece of art to look at.
It's beautiful. There's our nosy bee, crossed ambilobe panther chameleon. He's a really cool shade of blue.
Yeah.
What else do we have? This little leaf tail right here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Will grow into the largest species of leaf tail, the giant leaf tail, which has become about as long as my forearm.
Man.
Yeah.
So that tail leaf will be like your hand almost.
Pretty much, yeah. They get real
cool.
big. What do we have? Chihuahua gecko over there. Those guys are another cool one.
Oh yeah, he is just kind of out chilling. It's hard to see him on the cork bark when they just blend in. It's great.
And the leaves and everything.
Yeah.
They're good at hiding. Here we have an Abronia graminia, the Mexican alligator lizard.
Yeah.
We have, I believe, 2 females and a male. They're separated currently, but we believe, at least for sure, this one to be hopefully gravid.
That'd be awesome.
So one of these days. Actually,
Yeah.
I didn't check this morning. Maybe there's little ones running around.
That would be cool.
That would be quite cool.
That would be the coolest. Yeah, I love. It's really funny about every other enclosure here has NFS on it, not for sale. Just about half the enclosures, it seems like, are like, yeah, these are our pets, which is awesome to show people what they are.
Something we get some complaints about from our customers a lot of the time because we have such cool stuff and everybody wants to take it home. But we're working with a lot of exotic breeding projects, and we just 2 or 3 days ago leased another space where we're going to be able to move the breeding projects. I think also it'll be easier, helpful to get the animals to breed when there's not a 1,000 people looking at them.
Yeah.
Kind of stressing them out just being around them all day long.
It's probably also hard to establish captive bred breeding for yourselves if you're always selling the animal, you know? So that's why
you
there's
have to
all
keep
the...
them long enough to make babies.
Exactly. That's why there's a lot of not for sale cool stuff here, but you know, in the future, down the road, that stuff is all going to be available here, and you'll know it's high quality. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. So continuing on this wall, we have most of our
It's a lot of
ball
ball
python
pythons.
selection, but
Yeah.
there's a handful of others. There's some
This
blood pythons.
Pretty guy.
Oh yes, he's awesome. Our white-sided Brooks king snake. That is another not-for-sale guy. He is a rescue. He was originally spent, I think, 7 years at a summer camp educating kids. So he's very, very socialized, very, very friendly. We take him to birthday parties and school events and that sort of stuff.
Cool.
When we do that kind of educational stuff for the kiddos. A lot of these guys are probably going to be hiding. They're more nocturnal. If you guys come back here, once the lights are off and the sun is down, we could do a nighttime thing, and all these guys will be out moving around.
They're relatively active for ball pythons. Ours are, when we walked over here, 2 of them actually kind of made themselves known, and this little one came out to join and everything, which is something I've seen with...
This guy's out and about.
Yeah. Which is something I see with, you know, 1 or 2 of our ball pythons. They'll, every once in a while, when they hear disturbance, come out, which I
just kind of want to know what's going
on.
on.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Then this...
That is another one of our rescue iguanas.
Yeah.
He's...
nice and blue.
Very blue.
Very blue.
We have a veiled chameleon in here. Some anoles. These guys are over here are especially charming.
How about you pop over here, babe?
Yeah. So these are our frilled dragons.
They are
This one is the male, that one is the female. This guy goes by a number of names. I call him Newman. My business partner calls him Piranha. He responds to both as long as you're holding some sort of bug for him to eat. He won't say no. This guy down here is our diamond stardust carpet python.
Those are gorgeous snakes.
He is a beauty.
Oh,
He's
man.
also very friendly, which is pretty cool for being
awesome.
a big, giant, speckly snake.
Love how pretty they are.
We have Luna over here. You probably remember Luna was here when he first came to visit.
And this really cool, like, it's deceiving how big this enclosure is.
Yeah, the door makes it look small, but it opens up pretty good.
It's really, that's a trick way to get more space.
Yeah. In here we have our Cuban night anoles. These are some guys that have been prolific breeders for us. We have a good number of their, obviously, captive bred babies. And they're just super cool. They eat right out of your hands and stuff.
That's cool.
Really,
I like their face. Their heads are like wedge shape from the side.
Yeah, they are.
The way they're...
These are an animal people are working with now with different color morphs and stuff that are really, really pretty cutting edge and cool.
Oh.
Yeah, those guys are always jumping and flopping around. This guy, if you can find him, is the largest species of skink in the world.
The monkey tail.
Usually he's hanging out up there, but I'm not sure where he's at right now. But
yeah, it's pretty entertaining, you know. You've lost an animal in the enclosure. They blend in really well.
Once his lights aren't on yet, so it's kind of hard
He's
to find
not quite
him.
woken up.
This aisle, this wall over here is a good bit of our beardy selection. We have lots, we have numbers, big ones, little ones, different color morphs.
Yeah.
Some real cool red ones. We just sold our last Hypo Zero last week. It was bright white with jet black eyeballs.
Gotcha.
Super cool looking.
That's cool.
There's a handful of...
These things are so cool.
That is Bubs. Bubs is a northern blue-tongue skink from northern Australia. He was bred by one of the stores back in Chicago that inspired this store called Curious Creatures.
Heck yeah.
So he is going to be part of one of our future breeding projects.
Yeah, he looks good. I like their little stubby arms. Their arms and legs just don't seem like they fit their body.
It's true, they're kind of like a potato with tiny feet.
Yeah, it's pretty great. They're pretty great. And then their blue tongue, of course, where they get their name. I love all the little faces
Yep,
that are
there.
just over here to greet you.
Yeah,
Typical bearded dragons.
Yep, we have Phoenix. Phoenix is our kind of geriatric resident pet. We've had him for, I think, 7, 8 years now, and he is probably around 12 years old.
Man.
So.
How long do bearded dragons?
I believe they say typically 10 years, so he's kind of geriatric. He's
gotcha.
very, very old, but as I think you can kind of see, with
Yeah.
proper care, most animals can exceed the
exactly.
life expectancies and whatnot.
Those life expectancies are nothing.
Over here we have a good bit of our different boas. We have a couple breeding projects. This one is Cheese. That's my business partner's oldest pet. I believe she is now 13 or 14 years old.
Jeez.
14. Yeah.
Wow.
She just turned 14 in February, and we had our 14-year anniversary in April.
That's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. This one is most certainly gravid. We'll probably lift that up a little later.
Yeah.
She's very swollen.
That's cool.
She might have babies today.
Ooh.
These are a pair of our Dumerl's boas.
Those are very cool. Their pattern is so different.
They're kind of like little samurai masks.
Yeah. Yeah. For a boa, they're really cool. They're one of my more favorite boas, I think.
They are. They get big, but not too big,
Yeah.
and they're definitely kind of a little different than what you see.
Yeah. Not a normal red tail boa, although you've got the Brazilian rainbow boa, which those are notoriously challenging to keep sometimes, but
Yeah, that guy, he was here, I think, when you were first
really
here.
pretty,
This
yeah.
Pacific one. He actually recently studded out with one of our customers' big females.
very cool.
Cross your fingers,
Yes.
we get some babies from that. We just looked at her yesterday at his place, and she's looking swole. These two, I believe, are in the midst of
I
copulating.
think they are.
They're making the babies as we speak.
Yep.
But those are our Dominican mountain boas, another pretty unusual boa species to find, especially captive bred.
Yeah.
So,
You have to let me know when some eggs drop from those.
if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're live bearers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I believe.
Oh,
they
yeah.
are.
Boas, they're all live bearers, aren't they?
So, yeah, we got an
Yep.
Argentine boa. She is big and cool. Looks like she's going into shed.
Yeah.
We have some of our tortoises. We got some baby sulcatas,
Yeah.
some pancake tortoises, leopard tortoises, a hypomelanistic redfoot named Tortellini down there.
Got quite the stuff. Okay,
yeah.
well, I want to know about these little guys. You told me the story earlier, but I want to share
so
it.
these guys are, I believe, Fer-de-Lance and Bushmasters. They were personal pets of a guy named Dean Ripa. Dean was this crazy dude that collected venomous snakes and really loved like huge, deadly snakes. And eventually his collection got really big, and he was like, what do I do with all this? So he opened up a zoo museum called the Cape Fear Serpentarium in Wilmington. And it was a hit in the reptile community. It was like a destination. Everybody would want to go see him and his crazy, deadly snakes. And these were his personal pets. They died of natural causes. He had them embalmed, and these very jars were on display at the museum when it was open.
It's so cool.
Then, unfortunately, a few years ago, Dean was killed by his wife, who I'm not sure specifically what the circumstances were, but I think it had something to do with mental illness. She went to jail. They had a kid who was very young, obviously unable to maintain an estate full of giant deadly snakes.
Yeah.
So the living animals were distributed between collector friends of his and zoos around the country that were capable of handling them properly. And then we were able to purchase the specimens at auction to benefit Dean's son.
Man, that's so cool. What a story. I mean, they've definitely been around the country, mostly the Midwest, though. Those things are huge. You never realize from over there, the patterns almost look like Burmese pythons to a degree, you know, like an albino berm or something, or a retic. And it's just crazy that they're the fer-de-lance and the vipers and stuff.
Yeah, in the
That's
jars
so
up there,
cool.
there is I believe a king cobra and a western diamondback rattlesnake and a timber rattlesnake.
We'll have to go get some more close-ups of all those.
Totally.
That's very cool. Well, I think we're gonna switch up, put the microphone on Michael now, and we're gonna do the other half of the store.
Hey guys, welcome. Again, my name's Michael. Thanks for having us here.
Thanks for having us come down.
Appreciate you. So kind of to continue the tour, over here we have a few different chameleon species, as well as Cuban false chameleon, which is actually a species of a knoll. That's our male. We have a female over there. We have them separated for a little bit. She put out a good handful of eggs, so we're going to have them taking a break for a little while.
Give her some time to thicken back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So over here we have Gumby. He is a long-term resident rescue. He has some of the worst MBD I'd ever seen. He's been here for well over a year. Gumby, his bones were so soft they can bend over 90 degrees in the forearm, like Jello, or literally like Gumby.
Wow.
Over time we have got his bones to strong it back up. As you can see, he is climbing very slowly, but he's climbing up the side of his home. I don't think we're ever going to put him in anything bigger because of concerns about him falling too far. But Gumby's a fighter. So to continue over through here, we have a couple more of our obscure animals in the store. We got a giant African cat mantis up here, a couple Europlatus species. So we have Europlatus lineatus, or the lined leaf-tailed gecko. We have a pair in there. And then there is a female Europlatus cicoria, or a mossy leaf-tail. She's pied. She tends to hide back in that side.
I have to poke around.
We've got two Scolopendra gigantea, which is the giant, or Peruvian giant yellow leg centipede. These are the white phase, so they have white legs, but they can reach up to 18 inches, or about the width of the end of a pool cue, the thicker end.
Jeez.
They can get fairly large, so these are still young specimens. Down on the bottom we have, these are one of the very few things in the store that are actually not captive bred, but we hope to be some of the few people that end up producing them. It's only happened a couple times. But we have a 1.2 pairing of tentacled snakes down here.
I believe these are the ones I asked you guys for. These are cool. These are like dream animals for me. I want one.
That is one of the females.
Yeah.
I can see one of the males' heads right there.
I see one more back here. Or nope, that's still her body, I think.
I saw all of them last night.
Yeah, those are so cool.
They are very neat species. They fully aquatic. They have live birth, to my understanding.
Yep.
And they don't even come out. When we were doing our research to, do we need to bring an area that they're going to come out and lay eggs? No, apparently they're going to give live birth right in the water. So hopefully one day I walk in and there's a bunch of baby tentacled snakes here.
A bunch of little noodles.
Yeah, I'd be ecstatic.
We've only seen these in one other place. Those are so cool. Those are the coolest things.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see if
I
we
mean,
can
these
catch
are
some fish
also the coolest
later.
things. You guys have just the coolest things.
She is not out and announced, but later we can maybe find a little walkthrough. There is a female rhino rat snake in here.
Oh,
very cool.
Yeah.
She's in the middle of her ontogenic color change, so she's going from that gray little baby to that brilliant green and with the blue tints to it.
That's awesome.
She's looking great. We've had her for a while. Over here we have some horned lizards, giant horned lizards.
Cool.
They're one of they're P. oseo. They actually have the lowest requirement for the formic acid out of all the other horned lizard species. So we do occasionally give them some ants to eat on, but they primarily are eating other things like crickets and dubia, and then we'll do an occasional dusting with the formical by
Very cool.
Rapashi.
I was wondering about keeping those guys. That's interesting. Don't see those in collections that often.
Yeah, we have a male and a female pair. The female, I believe, was born in 2018, and the male is 2017. Both captive bred, unrelated. We also try to stay true to the unrelated and not using brothers and sisters as much as possible. keep our genes healthy, right? But that's an unrelated pair, so I'm hoping to find some eggs either sometime
Is
soon.
this the male?
I believe that might be the male.
Yeah, I think so.
The pattern is really cool. Really cool. Those guys, the green-keeled lizards.
Up here we have the green-keeled lizards, G. prasina. Those guys come from a remote region in Africa. They are suffering deforestation to Africa's agricultural push. Essentially, they're losing their habitat, so they, I believe, have recently, in the past couple of years, become critically endangered in the wild. That is an unrelated pair as well. We have several babies over on the other side of the room. We have successfully, I think we were 10 for 10 or 11 for 11 in eggs and hatching.
Very cool.
Right behind us, which we kind of walked past a little bit, we got a handful of little display cases which house a lot of our little colubrids, since they are master escape artists and they have figured out how to get out of some of those other enclosures. So that was one of those things that we learned over the past 2 years, probably since you were in. Those little tiny colubrids can get out of a crack, even if it doesn't look like they can. They can squeeze through it if they can just get their nose in there.
I think I've said that a couple of times on the channel. Definitely building enclosures, you can make them as, hey, escape proof. It's escape proof. Nope, those animals will prove you wrong. Our plated lizard pushed out, opened the door, and got out. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yep. There is no shortage of animals trying to do that. We're going to make a real quick stop here at the giant Haitian gallywasp. We got this guy is just a little tiny guy, maybe about 1.5 inches head to tail, and his head was maybe the tip of a Sharpie marker. He's growing quite a bit. Very shy, so you don't get to see him very often. So this is kind of a treat.
A gallywasp. They really give these animals some cool names, huh?
I believe those guys can reach up to 12 or 13 inches. They get fairly large.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, good-sized lizard, and it comes from the Caribbean, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And then are these the baby nightingales?
Those are some of the baby Cuban nightingales down here. They all started hatching between November 30th, and we had one hatch yesterday.
Wow.
So we've got quite a few of them, so unfortunately I wasn't able to keep them to the point that I have all their birthdays, but I can give you a range. So these are some of the bigger ones that we have separated from the smaller ones. We have another I guess, staging tank that they grow out in, and then we're continuously upgrading their enclosures as they get bigger. They find new forever homes.
Right. Then I noticed something we're very familiar with, our Basiliscus plumifrons over here, the green basilisk. He's cool.
Yeah.
He's looking good.
I'll let you guys come up and check him out.
See him down in the bottom there. Yeah, he's looking good. This is a pretty decent size enclosure. You can get some good water down here. And I have definitely noticed that, and I'm sure you guys might have noticed, they don't drink stagnant water. It has to move.
Yeah.
It has to move. Our female will not touch it if it's stagnant water.
We definitely have. One of the things that employees are instructed to do with several species around the store is we do spray downs in the morning if you notice anything with a blue sticker on it as you're going around the store, and we do them again in the evenings. Several species like the basilisk, the Cuban false chameleons, the Cuban nightingales, the frilled dragons, all of them, they won't drink stagnant sitting water. We still might have it available for them if they so chose to decide, but primarily most of the water sources they're getting is by running water that's running over their face or dripping off the leaves and whatnot.
It's really cool. I love watching it happen too, and he's doing the same thing our male basilisk does about this time today. He's just chilling in the water.
That guy was actually another one of our rescues. He was dropped off by some people that were under the impression he was a green iguana.
Oh. Oh.
Misidentified.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I think I would still take him over a green iguana.
As we
This wall.
come back around this wall, this is where some of our plants and more of our bioactive materials are. If you go across the bottom, we have kind of an arid setup going on. We've got 2 pairs of yellow ackies that are unrelated. They will become part of our breeding projects later. And then we have some helmeted geckos as well as Yucatan spiny-tailed iguana, which is another pair. Up on top, we've got a couple different types of toads and various types of amphibians. We have some yellow-bellied toads and albino yellow-bellied toads and red fire-bellied toads over there. It does appear that those albino yellow-bellied toads might be producing. We originally got those to be for sale, and those guys started laying eggs. So, well, in that case, now they stay.
Yeah.
You might find tequila down here, also known as agave. She is a Mexican giant musk turtle. She's coming on 4 years old.
Oh, yeah.
She's hiding right under that plant.
Yeah. It's pretty. We'll get in there later.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple different dart frogs over here. Some more of those baby Cubanidonuls. There's that original hatch tag. So if you look closely, you can see several little babies in there.
You can even see the whole cleanup crew going to town down here. These are even the same ones that we have.
Yep, some
in
powder
ours.
orange
Yeah.
isopods crawling around the front,
Man,
cleaning
they're
up.
prolific.
This one looks pretty bare right now, but if you actually look close, these are some of the largest roaches in North and South America.
Oh, wow.
They're giant cave roaches. Oh, that's a good
Wow,
picture
that's
of
a
one.
huge one. That's a big male. And those are native to the
South
U.S.?
America?
Oh, wow, South America. Okay.
As you go around the corner, we got our rescue turtle pond. I've got several turtles in here, a good bit of goldfish and guppies. The guppies, we got them as feeders. They were so tiny that we couldn't do anything with them, so we poured them in the pond, and they have been reproducing for 2 years now.
Yep.
And then some of the goldfish were just extra ones or ones that we liked that we threw in there, and they have enough nooks and crannies that now we have a population. Once we get over here, these are some of our larger female tarantula species. You got our female Brazilian pink bird eater. She's roughly about 7-8 inches right now. She's looking great.
big.
Our female Brachypelma smithi just molted. We've got a Singapore blue, cobalt blue, Colombian giant redleg.
The colors on those are just amazing. I never really thought about like tarantulas and spiders and stuff as having really cool colors, but more and more I see them in person, and with Rocky Mountain Spider Freaks, I watch their stuff on Instagram and stuff too. They've got crazy, they look so cool.
Yeah, they come in all different sizes and colors, all the way
Yep.
down to your dwarf species.
All the different
all the way up
flavors.
to your bird eaters. You can find ones that are kind of your more common grays and browns, and then all the way up to your extremely brightly colored ones like a green bottle blue or
Yeah.
a Goody sapphire, which might have very vibrant oranges and greens and so
They're
on
really
and so
different.
forth.
Yeah.
Over here is, we call this aisle more dart frog alley. There are
Yeah.
several species of dart frogs, but there's also a handful of other amphibians and a couple lizards thrown in here as well. Starting from the right, we got some Dendrobate tinctorius powder blue, as well as Dendrobate tinctorius yellowback, Dendrobate tinctorius green sip, and we also have Dendrobate tinctorius patricia and azuras as well. We've got 3 different species of Ranidomaya, or the thumbnail dart frogs. We got the Ranidomaya fantastica, Intimidator, as well as Vanzolini. And then we've got a few other miscellaneous like a Ufaga pumilio, as well as the pleasing poison arrow frogs, which I believe is Amerga. I need to look.
I'm so impressed that he knows all of those names.
Amerga basileri.
Man.
No, I might be pronouncing them wrong, so don't come at me. But I have a general understanding of a lot of their scientific names.
The colors are so different. I don't think I've seen like that color form or this one particularly. Pretty cool.
Yeah, they come in all different colors. Those bright colors are to warn off predators that, hey, you're not going to be happy if you decide to try and eat me.
Right. But that's not necessarily the case with them in captive bred, because they only get the poisons and toxins from eating certain things in the wild.
That is correct. So they develop those toxins by their diet. When raised in captivity, they never ate a wild diet. In turn, they don't secrete any toxin. They eat things like flightless fruit flies, bean beetles, rice flower beetles, so on and so forth.
But you still shouldn't lick your frogs.
Nope.
Probably shouldn't.
And if you run into one in the wild, it's best just not to touch it.
That's right.
Their toxin is poison. It can kill you if you have a cut in your hand, or if you do decide to put it in your mouth. Horrible idea.
Those bright colors are there for a reason.
Exactly.
They're there for your safety. And they are so brightly colored. Like these guys down here, this bright yellow is so cool. The bumblebees, they're super cool. I really do like the dart frogs. At the Cincinnati Zoo in the reptile house, the oldest reptile house in the country, which is in Cincinnati, they actually keep their dart frogs in with a red-tailed boa.
Really?
And they ride their back. It's hilarious. So they'll hop onto the red-tailed boa and cruise around. I never would have thought of putting something little like that in with a big giant snake, but it brings another little thing of color, and the snake isn't going to try to go after them.
Well, they're both from the same general region of the world, so if the
similar heat
enclosure is large enough to give them plenty of valid hiding spaces and food sources and whatnot, that I don't see. They do it in the wild.
Yeah, it was really interesting, you know, a huge wall size, you know, big insert zoo sort of enclosure, 10-foot boa and all the little tiny frogs in there. It was not what I was expecting.
I wouldn't be expecting it either.
But it was really cool.
I bet it was.
Oh, hey, buddy.
A couple different other lizard species up on this wall. So down here you have some St. Martin spotted geckos. You have a pair of tokays. You have a rescue Chinese water dragon in here. And then we got a lychee up here on top.
Looks like you might have had a little bit of nose rub or something going on. That's the rehab part.
You can actually see one of the...
Like, that's probably the size of a thumbnail. Oh, then he got something.
It's actually quite a pleasure to see her full out and about, stretching around. Zombie is also a 14-year-old boa constrictor. She is a proven breeder. I believe that there's a chance that she might be gravid as well. We had her paired with the male that was over there. They tend to have in my, I guess, experience, they tend to have a little later season birth than the boa constrictors or boa imperators. But she's been refusing her past 2 meals, so fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah. Arm, forearm, bicep size animal.
Yeah, she is roughly about 25.5 pounds.
Man.
This is Hera. Hera was here a couple years ago when you had visited. Hera's grown quite a bit. We'll probably take her. Actually, we found out Hera was a him. We'll probably take him out in a little bit. And down here we have Rico. Rico was another one of the ones. He was up in that top first tower when you walk in, and you have a video of him scratching at the glass as a little baby. Rico has grown quite a bit. He's out in his morning basking spot, just hanging out under the sun.
How hot is that basking spot for this guy?
I believe his spot's sitting at about 110.
Yeah. Yep. Got to cook those monitors. That's what they like.
Yep, good humidity as well as it should be in the range of 105 to 110.
Oh, those roughnecks are really cool.
He likes it right under the light.
Yeah. How about handling?
Very social. We'll be
Super
able to
cool.
meet him
Yeah.
later as well. Biggest thing is he has sharp claws. He doesn't know how sharp they are.
Right.
They're very literally talons.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know when I look at just our basilisks and our rhino iguana, their claws are also just ridiculous.
It's most of the time the lizard claws that are gonna bring out any blood. Don't really get bit by too many of the animals. They tend to run instead of bite as a defense mechanism in most cases. And when they run, especially with those long claws and they're trying to get away from you, they tend to scratch you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming back to this wall, so one of the interesting thing about the tours, all these walls were actually bare. There wasn't anything here when
Oh
you
man,
came in.
this store is totally different. This is a totally different store. It's floor to ceiling. They were just starting to unpack some boxes when I was here last.
We might have had the PVC
Yeah.
enclosures, but we did not have a single shelving unit, I believe, on any of the walls since the
No,
last
I
time
don't
we
think
came.
so.
And they're all filled with animals.
Yes, they are.
We have a handful of different various species down here. We have some Kurdistan spotted newts, which we have a couple different pairs of.
They're so much bigger than, especially the tigers. Those things are enormous.
Yeah, these guys are tiny. They're over there. The ones, I
Okay.
can see them under the log, but the ones over there are a little bit bigger, easier to see. We can get some video of them. We got a couple tiger salamanders, Yucatan shovel-nosed frog. Down here we have some yellow-spotted climbing toads. We've got a couple of those green-keeled babies, some White's tree frogs, another pair of the St. Martin spotted giant geckos, couple cresties, a rescue reticulated python down in the bottom. We've got a couple more chameleon gecko species. My first dart frog, her name's Tinkerbell. She's a big powder blue Dendrobate tinctorius. She's about 6 years old.
That's so cool.
And then we have some electric blue day geckos, or Williams eye. I believe it's L. Williams eye is the scientific name.
Some more of the green keeleds right here.
Some more of the green keeleds.
Those are the babies.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely did get some babies out of those, huh?
Yeah, we did.
And they're, this one's like right up front. They don't seem like they're that shy.
No, they're very social. They're diurnal lizards. They
That's
make
awesome.
a great centerpiece for the house because they're going to be moving around and active all day. They're semi-arboreal. They'll use the width of an enclosure as well as the height. So one of those like large extra talls, they're going to use all of that space.
It's what I like. An animal that can move all over the place.
Got a couple other critters over here.
This guy's
breeding
adorable.
pair of gargoyle geckos, side neck turtle. We have some more White's tree frogs down there. We got some Moroccan Euromastix babies down on the bottom and some Gidgee skinks.
Look at these
Two
little
of our
gidgeys.
herbivore species.
Oh wow, I didn't realize you have a lot of gidgeys in there.
Yeah, I believe we have 6 left. Now they are all related, but they are a communal species, and the breeder that we work with actually doesn't know exactly how well they will do by themselves. She suggested if you can, sell them in pairs, so we have a pair discount. We have a couple other Europlatus species.
I thought that was a big fake.
These are Europlatus semiti, which is another one of the mossy leaf-tail geckos. So we have a 1.2 pairing in there. Couple enclosures over, we got the satanic leaf-tails, or Europlatus fantasticus. We got 1 egg last year. Unfortunately, it didn't hatch. I still have it in the incubator. Fingers crossed. We got it in December. 120 days was around April 15th to 25th somewhere. We're not that far away. I'm going to keep incubating hopes, but I just found another egg there yesterday.
That's fantastic.
So I am trying a different method for incubation after more research, because it's always about learning, guys. You could always learn more.
Yes.
I've got over 25 years experience, and me and Patrick together have well over several decades of experience, and we're still learning every single day. So the industry is evolving frequently, and there's always something new to learn about and better ways to
Absolutely.
be able to handle and manage our animals. If you notice, some of these fancier ones aren't on bioactive. They were recently. Realized we're not finding the eggs in the big enclosures with all the bioactive, so we have adjusted them a little bit to make it a little bit easier on us to.
Yeah. And those are like you were saying, it's all about learning. You can't stop learning.
Right.
In fact, since the 2 years that I've been here last, like you were saying, the whole industry has changed so much. Geez, it changed a ton in 2 years. Bioactive was just becoming kind of like popular, and now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's about 75%. But you can lose some eggs, not lose them. They just get hidden because they're buried. And sometimes, you know, with our leopard geckos, we could come down and probably find them a couple days later. Be like, oh, geez, there they were. And experiment a little bit, do your research and whatnot for hatching the eggs out. But sometimes these animals don't have any information on them on how are these people captive breeding them. How have you done that? So learning.
we have the entire spread from beginner level animals all the way to some of your expert level animals. And a lot of those expert level animals, there's not much care knowledge that is available to an average person that you can find. So for example, the green-keeled lizards, finding proper incubation temperatures has been challenging. I spent quite a bit of time trying to find very hard to find.
Yeah.
We got lucky. I know exactly what I incubated them at, and I'm going to do the same thing next time.
Yeah.
But
if you luck out and you get it right the first time, do it again.
even some of my more experienced and expert level breeders that breed some very rare things that I only could wish to breed, they've even bred the keeleds, and they still have not hatched a successful baby. So
It's like our plated lizards. We were trying to figure out sexing of our Sudan plated lizards. It's pretty challenging. No one really does it because when animals are inexpensive to grab out of the wild in places that don't have the regulation, just that's how they end up coming in. 99% of the time, that's where all the plated lizards come from. And most of these animals originated out as, you know, wild caught and whatnot. But the plated lizards, I was only able to find one website with pictures that showed how many, counting the scales underneath. And I don't know if you've played around with plated lizards. They don't like you to hold them standing up to look at their butt. So it's a lot of this number, and it's really entertaining, but we did finally get, I don't know if you can hear the frog in the background, but that's cool.
one of the frogs is calling.
Yeah.
So
Super cool. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the store tour. Thanks for showing us on the tour. We're going to do a couple more videos with these guys, so stay subscribed and follow these guys on their Instagram. Your Instagram,
Cold-blooded and bizarre.
Cold-blooded and bizarre.
Spelled out, no ampersand.
And I'll have that link down below. Same thing with your website. You guys have some other services that you offer, like the rehab, and you do a little bit of boarding. Was that what I saw on there?
we do offer boarding. We do offer some services such as nail trimming, shed assistance, feeding assistance.
Super cool.
If you can really name it and somebody's needed help with it, and it comes down to reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates, we always do our best to help. So.
Well, with that, I'll just have to say that if you're in the Charlotte area, you have to come to this store. There isn't another one like it. We drove from Cincinnati to be here again. I wish they were in Cincinnati. So, you know, maybe maybe in the future they can open one in Cincinnati.
Maybe
But
one day.
Heck yeah. This store is fantastic. We're going to do some interviews with these guys, so stay subscribed.